All right. Look, farmers have it's hard enough being a farmer. I'm sure. I grew up around farmers. I've never actually been a farmer, but I've spent a lot of time on farms and ranches in my life, hunting and fishing and doing different things and talking to folks and having neighbors that were in the field. And one of the things that always struck me as odd is when those on the left say, well, we need to, raise taxes on these people. They're worth millions of dollars. Well, they've got land, but they might not have any cash flow. Sure, you can turn all their land into subdivisions. I'm not sure who's going to feed the people that live in those subdivisions if you keep getting rid of farms, but hey, I'm crazy that way. My next guest, Brian Reisinger. He is the author of Land Rich, Cash Poor, My Family's Hope and Untold Story of the Disappearing American Farmer. Brian, welcome back.
Good to be with you, Steve. Thanks for having me.
All right, you're a former GOP strategist, rural policy expert. So here's the question. China is weaponizing its ag imports to target Trump and U.S. farmers. They're really, and I listen to an ag report. We have it airs here. One of the first things we do every day here on this program is an ag report for the Midwest. What are you seeing? I see that China's not buying beans. They're buying it from South America, one of the things I keep hearing. And it's a problem because we've got not our biggest crop ever, but a substantial crop of beans and corn, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And thank you for shedding light on these issues. You're putting your finger right on the button here, which is that China has long been an adversary to the American farmer, and this is the latest. This snub, the way that they're weaponizing and turning away from American farmers who are growing soybeans and depend on selling them to China, this is the latest step. They've been buying up our farmland. They've been for a long time buying up a lot of agricultural products and then suddenly dumping them. They've been an unreliable buyer, and that depresses the price, all kinds of unfair trade practices. So this is the latest assault on the American farmer from China.
Yeah. Companies like Smithfield have always bothered me. Smithfield, I think, was bought by the Chinese about 2004. I'm not going to take a quiz on that date, but I think it's about that time. Smithfield, one of the biggest meat packers in America. I mean, today in America, somewhere between 25% and 50%, 1/4 and 1/2 of all the pigs alive in America are owned by Chinese companies and Chinese processors. So a company like Smithfield will own the hogs, pack the hogs, and so on and so forth. Why do we allow that? Why do we allow them to come in? Because if they just shut it down, they'd suffer. China doesn't care. They're okay to suffer as long as they can hurt America, I believe. Look, we're in an asymmetrical war with China. Whether we realize it or not, they know it. In agriculture, in politics, and in the military, all of it. What can we do to put ourselves back to where we belong as American farmers? Stop importing all this stuff from South America and Vietnam and every place else. Buy American. It's never been more important than when it comes to buying food, right or wrong.
Yeah, one of the biggest challenges we have is that in China, let's say you have an LLC coming to America to buy farmland, that LLC might tie right back to the Chinese Communist Party in a way that it wouldn't here in America. So
they all do. It's required.
Yeah, exactly. So that's part of what you're talking about, asymmetrical warfare. One of the best things that we can do is, number one, drive harder bargains around trade deals. Tariffs are part of that. Negotiate harder deals. American farmer does need us to reach some kind of an agreement with China, but we need China to get in line and be fair and to stop the unfair trade practices. But the other thing we can do, Steve, is we can really diversify. And part of that is building up our domestic economy where Americans are buying American-grown food, as you correctly say. The other part of it is making tougher trade deals with more countries in terms of our exports that are willing to deal with us fairly. So there are hundreds of countries out there. There's usually only around 24 trade deals or so that America has across the globe. If we negotiate tough trade deals and are exporting our goods to countries that want to deal fairly with us, we can diversify and not depend quite so heavily on China. That's one of the biggest problems, is that China is basically our biggest trading partner and our biggest adversary.
Yeah, it's a symbiotic relationship and not always a good one, that's for sure. I mean, if our economy crashes, China's going right with us, right to the bottom. I mean, it's just the way it is. They've built a middle class there, but they've also done some other smart things. They've focused on energy. We have not. They've focused on food supplies. We have outsourced too much. I remember back, heck, I was a kid, maybe the 1970s, maybe 1980-ish. I saw a bumper sticker that said something about, go ahead, buy your foreign car, but look out for the day you buy a foreign salad. Something to that effect, basically. And people say, don't buy Japanese cars. They're fighting hard. I live in a General Motors town, but they were warning us It's fine. Go ahead and laugh about buying your foreign car until you start buying foreign food. But that's what we do. A tremendous amount of our food is imported now. I can't even believe it. We have the greatest farmland in the world here, don't we?
We do. It's incredible that you say that, because a farmer said to me just last week, we don't like depending on foreign oil. Wait till we depend on foreign food. Same idea. So
Yeah.
farmers are talking about the exact thing you just said. And here's the deal. We're wiping out our farms at 45,000 per year on average for the past century, while at the same time we're importing more than $40 billion in food in terms of our agriculture trade deficit, importing that much more food than we're exporting. So we're getting it backwards. And that's why we need to make some of the changes that we're trying to work on here. We need to have our foreign food supply secured in the form of small family farms. And we need to have our imports be things like kiwis and stuff that we can't grow here in America as much as possible.
Yeah, and there are things you can't grow here. I mean, we don't really grow coffee. One place we grow it in Hawaii, and we don't grow avocados here. We don't. But most things, the Central Valley of California, Florida, Texas, apples from Michigan and Washington. We grow a lot of great things, blueberries here in Michigan and across the country. And yet I go to the store and the blueberries are from Peru, and the apples are from Canada. I'm like, what are we doing? I mean, honestly. Anyhow, real quick, give you the last word.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the thing that we can do about this, Steve, is that every single American consumer can take a step toward the American farmer. If we want homegrown food and we want to have food security, you can take a step toward the American farmer by buying from a grocery store that'll carry local goods. A lot of them will if they know people want it.
Yep.
Farmers markets, local butcher shops, everyone can take a step toward that. If we can do that and create new entrepreneur opportunity for our farmer, we can reverse the crisis that I've been writing about and that you've been so rightly raising on your show here. And we can have
There you go.
the American feeding the American family.
There you go, Brian Reisinger. The book, Land Rich, Cash Poor, My Family's Hope and the Untold History of the Disappearing American Farmer. Brian, thank you, as always.
Yeah.
We'll take a break and be right back with sports.